idea that's never wrong is called a law, and proved by calculus and algebra. Isaac Newton.
Law of motion explains that an object wants to keep doing what they are doing. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Unbalanced force means that one force is stronger than another, forcing the object to move. Basically means if an object is moving, it will keep on moving unless something stops it. The same would apply with motionless objects. A still or stationary object will not move unless an unbalanced force pushes or pulls it. For example, Ethan and Matt are playing soccer. The ball is motionless until Ethan's foot pushes it with an unbalanced force to make it move. Matt's foot is what causes it to stop.
Northeast, south, or west.
Ethan and Matt are playing
Unless a force comes in from something else. Hits it, pulls it, shakes it off the shelf. Newton wrote 3 laws.
Example is when Ethan and I are throwing a tennis ball. I throw it at Ethan and he catches it. But let's think of this as if we were in space. If I threw the ball and Ethan wasn't there to stop it, it would go on and on and on and on, because there are no forces stopping it. Inertia. An object has a tendency to continue in its state of rest or uniform motion until an external force acts on it. This next experiment shows that when I flick the cardboard, the coin stays in a state of rest and therefore drops into the glass. This tendency of an object to resist any change in its state of rest or uniform motion is called inertia.
It will go forever true. Unless again if
Second law of motion is F equals m times a. I know that sounds like gibberish, but it will make sense eventually. Let's first explain each letter. F is force. Force is how hard you push or pull an object. M is mass. Mass is the weight of an object. The mass affects the process because the heavier the object, the more force needed. Acceleration is a state of increasing speed. This is the movement from one point to another with an increase in speed. So F equals m times a means the force needed to move the certain object is dependent on how much it weighs and its acceleration. Newton's law explains why Matt needs more force to push Brandon's scooter than he does to push Ethan's scooter. Because the mass of Ethan's scooter is greater than that of Brandon's scooter, Matt has to apply the force to move it. The more force Matt applies to the scooters, the faster they will move, i.e., the more they will accelerate.
Second law is such a gas. Force, acceleration, mass. Oh, inertia, force,
Newton's third law of motion explains that when an object pushes or pulls against another object, the other object pushes back with an equal force. So to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's quite strange to think that when you push against the wall pushes back with an equal force. Again, so Isaac Newton's mind is very strange. Here's a good example. When Brandon hits the wall, it moves very slightly, but so slightly the human eye cannot see it. What does I charge Brandon? Because I am heavy and he is lighter, I push him over. The reaction is not as strong as the action, so it is unbalanced.
An example of Newton's third law, action and reaction, is this car driving into the wall. The car pushes into the wall, but the wall pushes back, forcing the car to move backwards. When Ethan stands on a scale on Earth, gravity forces him to push down on the scale, and so the scale pushes back, forcing the meter to read 50 kgs. When Ethan stands on a scale in space, there is no gravity, so he does not push down on the scale, and the scale does not push back. The meter will therefore read 0 kgs.
There are 3 laws of motion.